Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Mark Choco Williams. He played 201 games and kicked 236 goals at the highest level. He played a combined total of 380 games and kicked 377 goals, including his time at State League level. He coached Port Adelaide from 1999 to 2010, guiding the club to their inaugural premiership in 2004. He was inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame in 2023. Hello, Mark. Thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, Fletch. Great to be here.
And tell me a little bit about the MyMCG product that you created.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right from the start. Look, when I was sitting around really in my room thinking when COVID was on, actually, I was looking at some of the things I had in here, and I had a Statue of Liberty and I had a Eiffel Tower. Then I'd go for a bike ride, and I don't know, it started being creative in my mind, thinking, what have we got around here? And I thought, the most iconic thing in Australia was the MCG. So I probably took two 2 or 3 years to get it together, but took it to the MCG. They loved it there. So in fact, I've kind of got a one to show people. It's a bit hard to see on this, but you can see that it shows all the parts of the MCG. It has the players' bench, it has the Shane Warne stand, it has the members, and also it comes with six towers. The only thing you have to assemble really is to put a tower in, and it doesn't take very long at all, and then away it goes. So that's all terrific, and it's not a toy. It's a memory maker, if you like. You sit there on your desk and you look at it and you think, oh, that's where I went. I sat there with my dad the first time. In '77 I saw the drawn grand final. In the Great Southern Stand, and I have wonderful memories of the MCG. My first game as captain was there. I was, in a final, I kicked 6 goals. All of these things come rushing back, and to think that everyone's got their own special moment, and it won't be mine, it'll be someone else's, but it might be. I went to Michael Jackson concert there. I went to Billy Joel, some great cricket things. I've, seen Alex Carey, my mate, score 100 there in a Boxing Day test. Some of the great memories, and all evolved around the great MCG, which is, about to, have the 150th celebration cricket, and also the NFL there. So, all the people from overseas will have those memories as well. And it actually comes with a drop-in pitch, so that it starts with an AFL footy ground as the standard, and then you have a drop-in pitch as well. So it works for both cricket and footy, and I think it's just a fun family kind of heirloom. It'll just last in your family forever.
It's very cool, that's for sure. And you also designed the Sharon Precision football. Talk me through that football and how you sort of came to designing that.
Yeah, that's kind of shown here behind me, and you can see the spin line on it. What it's about is to try and. I used to coach my three boys in footy as I was a AFL coach, and I noticed that a lot of coaches and teachers and parents were trying to help with their very best, but they really didn't know how to teach how to kick. So I invented this to try and help them. The most important thing that listeners need to know is there's a wonderful set of videos that go with it. So the ball is one thing, but the videos show from me showing a little kid to an older kid to Dustin Martin, the progressions through beginning kicking to elite kicking, and then there's also Daniel Turner and Alyssa Bannon, where we went through all the steps in how to goal kick, and it's unreal. It's really good. I'm really proud of it, and it's all free. So if they look up Sharon Precision dash goal kicking, they'll be able to see all the wonderful videos and the help things. If you can't do this, try this. Here's something to practice here. If your kid's doing this and it looks like this, that means you need to practice this. And step by step, it's easy. As I'm a teacher, I'm understanding that I'm not trying to be a smarty pants when it comes to trying to teach people, and it just works. It's available in all the different sizes. Sharon.com.au, you can buy the balls there, and I really believe that whether you're a little kid or elite footballer that wants to improve, that's the way to go. And even last week I was up in 2 weeks ago I was up with the Swans with the men's program, the women's in the academy, and we're all kicking with this ball up there, and we're using the smaller size as well, because it really does challenge the best kickers to really concentrate on hitting the point of the ball.
You mentioned heading up to the Sydney Swans as well. What was that experience like to work with their players and coaches, but to also see their facilities too?
Yeah, so for 50 years actually, I've worked in footy as either a player or a coach, and this is the first pre-season that I've had off. So I was kind of sitting around, and Simon Goodwin, who I'd worked successfully, and this trophy behind me on this side here is indicator of that wonderful flag that we won at Melbourne. But Simon's is up there at the Swans now, and he called me up to come up and spend a few days. They've got some wonderful coaches, and to be open to someone else to come in just at the start of the season and to help with their program shows what they're about. They got the facility is probably the best one I've ever seen, mostly because it's inclusive of all the staff. So you basically can look out your office, and one of the sides is open, and you can see what's going on in the football program, as well as doing your whatever core business is for the club. So I thought that was wonderful. Their eating area and their lunch area is again overlooking the facility. So and then within one 5 meter walk, you're outside and you're in the Sydney showgrounds precinct, where it's got just so many different activities there. The players can move easily from being in the footy world to just obscurity out with everyone else, and then walk 100 meters, and they're on their training ground, and then the SCG is there. So I thought it was really well placed. Obviously, Sydney have been looking and trying to get this organised, and all credit to the people up there, establishing it and giving the players a wonderful place to learn and grow.
Do you still miss working in clubland?
Do I still?
Miss working in
Oh yeah.
clubland?
Well, yeah, I've still got a lot of energy, and certainly, people my age would be, if you're in NFL, you're certainly, maybe in the soccer world as well, you're still in it. But AFL is not as it's not as as soon as you get to a certain age, it seems like you're on the back burner. But my passion is to teach people, mentor, help out. So if it's a country club or it's a local club, I'm here to help, whether it's with leadership programs or cultural development, or certainly the skills. I can help people set up their programs, and I really enjoy doing that.
And your time in the sample, you played with West Adelaide and Port Adelaide. What was that experience like for you?
Oh well, it was just having my dad was coach at Port Adelaide for 20 years or so, and he won 9 premierships, and he's got his name on one of the grandstands at Adelaide Oval. So it shows that it ran in my family, and between my brothers and I and my dad, in the time that Dad was alive to us, Port have won 24 premierships, and we've been a part of 22 of them. So you know, playing in footy was everything we'd hoped to be able to do. Dad's when we first started, he was back at West Adelaide where he first started, and so we stayed there until he retired, and then we went back to Port Adelaide, and successfully won 4 flags there before I came to Collingwood, and I loved my time, but again, it was West Adelaide, Port Adelaide were development grounds for me to get an opportunity to then come to the AFL and see if I was good enough to play there.
Do you have any regrets from your time in football as a player or coach?
Look, I don't look too hard on regrets. The only thing is always looking for the next challenge. Always, what else is there? Um, you know, after winning the premiership and saying that Alan Scott, you were wrong. I haven't. I think I'm the only. Well, I know I am the only premiership coach that never got a second opportunity. So maybe people took offence at that, but I. I don't really have any regrets at all. I've been lucky, and things have worked out pretty well. So I'm not here moaning about anything. And again, still up and about, and still really looking forward to the next opportunity.
And you mentioned your time with Collingwood. You won two Best and Fairests there, a Best and Fairest in your first season. How do you sum up your time there as a player?
Well, it was a dream come true going to Collingwood. What an iconic sporting organisation, biggest in Australia, and with such a wonderful supporting base. And the only trouble when we were at Collingwood there, and people don't reflect, and you're too young to even know this, but in my last year, we had to take a 20% pay cut. But, we had 5 coaches in 6 years that I was in Collingwood. So it was in a bit of turmoil. We played in the grand final. We finished third one other year. So, we're up and about, but they kept changing coaches all the time, and always looking for the premiership, and not accepting second best. But, that I think Eddie Maguire was such a influential figure when he came, and really put some sort of solidarity and certainty into what was going on there. And all credit to him as to ending up with the 1990 grand final
And
premiership.
you captained the club from your third season there. What was that like?
Oh, it was a wonderful honour. I suppose, my dad, having been captain coach of South Australia and Port Adelaide, and, my, as a junior, I was, seemed to be in a leadership or captaincy role for most of the time. And it come naturally to me. I'm a trained teacher who taught for 10 years as well. So I kind of learned and knew how to, you know, lead, I suppose. And, each opportunity, you keep learning, but it came naturally for me.
And you sort of had you touched on it a little bit earlier. There was that 20% pay cut, but how did leaving Collingwood sort of come about for you?
Look, I don't know. Lee had came to the club, and I could see that Lee was going to be a great coach. But he gave me, having been there for 6 years, and done everything right. Almost played every game that I was there, and put my body on the line. I just felt that I didn't get the proper respect of negotiating my contract at the end of that. When it came up at that time. And it was like sign this or you're gone type thing. So I thought that the opportunity to go to Brisbane, having been at Collingwood for 6 years, and as I said, with that turmoil in the background, it was not like leaving Collingwood now, where everything is there and everything is set up and things are very, very solid. So, as I said, I've been a bit of an adventurer where it's, going to the next challenge, and to support the AFL, go to Queensland, set something up, was pretty exciting for me. So I thought, well, I'll take that opportunity and go up there. To this day, we have some fantastic friends from the Brisbane time, and yeah, we have a WhatsApp group. There's about 35 of the original Bears on it, and we're so proud of the fact that we went up there, and you look at what Brisbane have become now. Without us going there, there's no chance it would have been what it is and what it's made for the AFL. So there should be a lot of respect for those original Bears that went there and did some really hard times, but in the end, it worked out brilliantly for everyone.
How hard was it to sort of, I guess, go to a club that was a new club in the VFL as well?
Yeah, well, no one really understands unless you're up there. But we were training in probably 10 different training venues because we were just thrown around everywhere. We were told to buy houses in Brisbane because that's where the ground was going to be, and then within a year we had to go and sell the houses and go down to the Gold Coast because where the Suns play now is where the Bears played their original games. We had Adco huts. It was quite a embarrassingly unprofessional setup, and the AFL are fully aware of it, and each each club that's opened since has been given so much more in concessions and also resources. To the fact that now we're saying there's going to be a roof stadium in Tasmania. How wonderful is that going to be? Um, but we made the most of it, and as I said, we won 6, 7, and 8 games in the first 3 years up there, which wasn't too bad. And uh, as trailblazers, as I said, we're very proud of where Brisbane has got to now.
And midway through the 1990 season, you retired from the Brisbane Lions. Why did you decide to retire halfway through the season?
There's a couple of factors. The year before, my twin brother had tragically died from a housing incident. The roof fell on him when he went inside when he was renovating the house. So, so that broke my heart a bit. And my younger brother was playing at Port Adelaide, and the rules were that if you got back to South Australia before June 30th, you could play in that year. Brisbane that year was not going very well, and I'd played the last 45 games in a row, so it's not like I was in and out of the side or anything. And even the last game, I recently looked it up, but I had the most possessions on the ground, and played really well. But it was time to go, and I think when I left, it opened up the opportunity for Marcus Ashcroft to become a player on the list. And you can see the sliding door moments that caused with Will and his brother playing now and so dominant in their senior team, and that's because Marcus had obviously played the games to give him father son. So it's a wonderful thing. But I went back and played with Stephen, my brother, and we won the premiership that particular year, and then won 2 years afterwards as well on the last day that I retired. So it was a lovely finish to a football career, and one that people write that if you wanted to finish your last game, what would it be? It would be in a premiership, and that's certainly what it was.
A fairy tale finish, that's for sure. And getting into your coaching side of things, in 1993 and 1994, you coached Glenelg. What was that like to coach that club?
Well, it was the team that we actually beat in the 92 grand final. So to go there straight afterwards, it wasn't a real warm welcoming by some of the supporters for sure, but the players were straight behind me, and I was right into it and put every waking moment into success. We made the finals. It was when the Crows were up and about, and Glenelg had probably 6 or 7 going in and out of the team, which made it a little bit less consistent. But we developed some young players. People don't realise, but Craig McRae he come second in the best and fairest as a 17-year-old. got drafted the year after, and started his career under me. And I'm very proud of where he's got to. Dean Bailey was there as well as a player that I recruited from Essendon, and obviously we from that day we formed a friendship. So when I become a coach at Port, I got Dean back because of the time we spent together at Cornell.
And you then joined Essendon as an assistant coach under Kevin Sheedy, who is arguably one of the greatest coaches in the AFL. What was it like to work with Kevin Sheedy as an assistant coach at the Bombers?
Oh, it was wonderful. Kevin, back in those days, obviously a coach for a long time. We had David Wheaton, who was very much into analytics and understanding the opposition, looking at all the stats. So between David and I, we formed a wonderful little pair to help Kevin. Um, Kevin might have been, doing corporate talks and things during the day, then turn up at night where we were, as far as that was how we trained. And Kevin would let David and I, come up with the training drills for the night, and then he'd come and assess it and go, yep, cross that one out. Yep, we're doing that. Yep, we're doing that. But when it came to match day, he was so well prepared, and I learned so much from him. His motivational pre-game or the things he did. They were all a little left field, but perhaps I've got some of my things from him, and that's what you do. You get the best parts out of all the coaches you've been around, and certainly, some of the things that Kevin did were, inspirational, but so innovative that the people at Essendon were so lucky to have him.
And in 1997, you joined Port Adelaide as an assistant coach in the club's inaugural season in the AFL. What was it like to be an assistant there and then obviously transition to becoming the senior coach?
Well, I got the opportunity to work again with John Cale, which, he was at Collingwood with me. My dad had coached him. His son, Darren, and I are best mates, if you like. And, I'm lucky enough to go to all the Yannick Sinner games or Simona Halep. Or, I've been lucky over the years. And Darren's, been such a wonderful coach and probably the best tennis coach ever. He's had four number ones. What a career he's had. So to go back there, I suppose I was the one with the most current AFL knowledge, so I could come back and assist in that regard. Jack or John, he had the upbringing of Port Adelaide, the inspiration of how to get the team together, and we had so many of the original Port Adelaide support staff come to the power. It made it probably easier for us to begin well, and it was a fantastic time there.
And coaching Port Adelaide, how did you find that personally? You obviously won a premiership there, but how did you find coaching Port Adelaide and getting to coach some fantastic footballers there too?
Well, you take it as a real honour, but at the same time, it's a responsibility because you got young players and they only have a certain time in life, and you have to give them absolutely the very best opportunity to reach the pinnacle and win the premiership. So, we started off, and we didn't have the great resources. We didn't have a great membership. We were building the first 2 years we came in, the Crows won the premiership. So, that took a lot of the limelight off us, and it also added a lot of pressure because it was always Crows versus us. And, luckily enough, we won the first time we played against them to establish that, we belong, and we're worthwhile. So, we just pushed the edge, kept recruiting, kept finding better team, better players, better game plan, and eventually, to be an interstate club and to finish top 3 years in a row, no one else has ever done it, and we're very proud of that. Try and do it. It's extremely hard. Brisbane never ever finished top when we were there, and we won the most games for 5 years in a row as a total. So it was just right that when time came that we deserved to win, and it was wonderful that everyone stuck and stayed on board, and we eventually got there.
And in your time at Port Adelaide, you coached players like Adam Kingsley and Damien Hardwick. They've now gone on to be AFL senior coaches in their own right. What's it like to see players that you've coached then follow sort of a similar path and then become coaches in their own right?
Look, I'm really proud of them. In fact, in the whole group uh, of the 2004, including some of the coaches, Alistair Clarkson was there, Phil Walsh was there, Dean Bailey was there, and Matthew Primus, who didn't play that game, he became a coach. But then Stuart Dewey's the coach. Jared Schofield, he won two premierships in Western Australia. Josh Carr, who's now a coach, he won one or two at North Adelaide. You know, Troy Chaplin's there, and Brett Montgomery. There was some wonderful players that went on to coach. And we had nine that actually become senior AFL coaches. Brendan Lade is still running the midfield at the Western Bulldogs. So just remarkable. And, I feel like it was probably, that they could see the method of teaching, the method of showing care to their players, and always inquisitive about finding a new way if it wasn't working. And I'm sure that a little bit of what we did goes with each one of them. And as I said, I'm really proud of how they've gone, and look forward to more and more success.
And in 2004, the club won their first premiership as well. You were the senior coach. How special is that to reflect on?
That's as good as it gets. For us, it's the ending of everything we worked for, and it was just a relief because we'd had so much pressure on us, and to be able to handle the pressure and deliver against one of the greatest teams of all time, yeah, it was really worthwhile. And so we look fondly on it. The best part about our group is that we get together every year, the Thursday before the grand final, and 15 or so turn up, and we just reminisce and have some fun, and the togetherness and the camaraderie of everyone is just still real, and still everyone's still got each other's back. So it's a great thing what team sport does, and what winning does.
In 2004, you had that iconic tie celebration as well. Do you think that nowadays coaches are lacking some personality?
Uh, I don't know. I saw Kingers on one of those reality shows. He was showing a bit of personality there, but he actually said that it wouldn't get in my top 30 sprays. So that was a little bit funny. I don't think that would be true, but look, the media is so you know it wants to get into everything these days. The coaches are, any little twitch they've got, or scratch is kind of highlighted. So it may be a lot harder now, and maybe people kind of try and avoid taking too much, doing too many things. The fact is, I had no thoughts of doing that, but half time of the game, people were calling us chokers. I don't know. It sticks in me. I'm pretty remember things. Yep.
And you also were involved with the Greater Western Sydney Giants as an assistant coach, reuniting with Kevin Sheedy. What was it like to reunite with Sheeds at the Giants?
Oh, it was wonderful. As I said, at the Giants, she's let me basically coach the side, and he did all the promotion of the side, which the side needed. Um, so that was it was so enjoyable for me. We had such great young players, and the opportunity to try and get them up and get them to play to their potential and then have some success. Yeah, I feel like we set it up pretty well, and now the Giants are very viable, and people take them with a very watch what they do, and interested in how they perform what they do, and so I think that the credibility of it shows that it had strong foundations, and well done to them. And the only thing I was disappointed, I was kind of promised the job following Sheeds, but it never came about. So when they didn't want to extend my contract, I thought, well, you just lead me on a bit here, and so I got the opportunity to go to Richmond, and that was another wonderful adventure as well.
And what was it like to be at the Richmond Tigers from 2013 to 2016?
Well, no, I don't think they are the dates, but anyway, when I got to the Tigers, maybe it was, yeah, probably was. They haven't made the finals for 20 years, and we made the finals the first year, which was just wonderful for the supporters, and it started them thinking, maybe we're a chance, and to be part of that build, people like Lambert and Castagna, and then Short, and there's so many Soldo and McIntosh, and there's just so many young players that came through. Nick Floston, who's still playing, and Nathan Broad. I was in charge of the development of all those young players, and I had just such a fun time. And then they gave me the opportunity to mentor Dustin as well. And even though I didn't know who he was, I could see his potential, and where he ended up, and his success has just been. You just couldn't write about it. It'd be a wonderful TV or movie in years to come, with how he got to where he did, and how he has become the most successful player come grand final day of all time. Where I've been very lucky to be a part, and still very close friends with him.
And what was it like to work with Dustin Martin? Because it must have been a great thrill for you.
As I said, I really didn't know who he was. These are pre-tats days. He might have had a couple on his neck for his family, but so the fact of the matter is that I treated him just like one of my kids. I have five kids, and they're pretty well the same age as him. One or two might have been older, and the rest of them are exactly the same, or younger. And so my wife, Pauline, and the family, they really brought him in as one of us, and we did everything together. We'd go 10-pin bowling, or play darts, or quoits, or pool, or I don't know, cards, and it was always a competition. And he loved it. He would always come over Thursday night before a game. I'd always go through his game tape. We'd talk about his goal setting. I was lucky enough to sit on the bench, so when he come off, whether he's tired, or how many sprints he'd had, or how many possessions he'd had, he loves a carrot in front of his nose, and I would be the person that would be able to keep convincing him that he could do more and more, and to my joy that he could deliver, and I just was lucky to have that front row seat.
And now to a difficult period in your life as well. You were diagnosed with lymphoma. How challenging was that period in your life to deal with?
Well, it's challenging. You're not prepared for it. You got no idea, and if you put on, I never drank alcohol ever. I never smoked ever. I was always kind of super fit. So the idea is doing those things, you're not supposed to get cancer, and but anyway, it happened, and so I think for anyone listening to this, the mentality of I'm going to get this kind of shit out of my body. I'm going to beat this is so important. The positivity of I'm going to win is, from my sporting days, my footy days, I'm sure that helped. I had some wonderful, wonderful um, doctors and diagnosis. Um, and those people, I say saved my life. They come up with some stuff, and then eventually, after a short period of time, we, I think it was 40 days of radiation, and I was at Richmond the whole time. I was lucky that I could work in the morning and go to treatment in the afternoon. So that, they kind of looked after that, but it's been 10 years now, and I one of the things I did at Peter Mac, because of my teaching and my football background and the idea of leadership and communication, and I actually engaged with the staff there and head of staff, and had a lot of doctors and nurses and come, and I actually lectured to them in regard to my experience, things that I see, how it's similar to interactions in teams, and but the high pressure situations, and we discuss something that I thought could improve, and they were so grateful, and I just felt like I was giving back and helping the next people that turn up just like I did, with such fear in their minds and hope in their hearts.
It's such a powerful message there, Mark. And in 2020, you were appointed as the new head of development at the Melbourne Football Club. What was it like to join the Melbourne Football Club and to be a part of that 2021 premiership as well?
Well, in between Richmond and Melbourne, I was lucky enough to go to Ajax Footy Club, which is all Jewish playing football club, and I got to be head of Maccabi coaching. So they must have 15 or 16 different sports, and men's and women's, and I was mentoring all those leaders in that group as well, and coaching the players on the weekend. So I still have some wonderful friends there, and learned a lot about the Jewish faith, which was kind of interesting because I'd learned so much from Basher Hawley at Richmond about the Muslim and Islam faith. So I feel like I'm a better person, more rounded, more understanding because of those experiences. And then I went to Werribee Footy Club. Mark Penaluna got me down there. It's like going to a country club. It was such an enjoyment. We set up the values. A guy named Stewie Ballard and I, worked hand in hand together. Mickey Barlow came along. Nick Daffy was there. Brought a couple of coaches from Ajax down there with me, and James, who'd come from Adelaide as well. So we had a great little coaching bunch, and we made the finals. And then COVID come. We actually recruited Sean Manor and trained and had one practice game with him, and knew that he was going to be something special. And all of a sudden, COVID come, and the rest is history. He's back and doing some wonderful things. In our time at Werribee, we had Jake Riccardi come through, win the young rising star of the VFA and VFL, sorry, and then go up to Greater Western Sydney, and certainly on my recommendation, and he hasn't let anyone down. He's been outstanding, just about to play his 100th game, and again, you get such a buzz seeing your young players that you had something to do with keep performing, and so that's nice. But because of COVID and that, I don't know, Melbourne just rang out of the blue, and it was a dream come true for me. And as I said, to be part of something, I think it was 57 years since they'd won a flag. Everyone, unsure, and then being able to deliver, and the moon's aligning after half time over in Perth, where he kicked 17 out of the last 18 goals. It's just unheard of, and to this, I'll always take that premiership with all the others as a great experience in my life. And
And,
you know, I met some wonderful people, from playing staff to coaches and just the rest of the staff. So I really enjoyed my time there. And unfortunately, I was out of contract when Goody got the flick, so it made it the reason why I had to move on. But I have great memories there.
and just finally as well, in 2023, you were inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you?
Look, it's great recognition. It's a great honour. I think to be in there with my dad is pretty special. I would say right now that my dad should be a legend. If you read what he's done, yeah, he that's just should be a fait accompli. Uh, Given the fact also, and think about it, he actually went to war first. He didn't start playing until he's 24. And you read what he's done since that time. That's just outrageous almost. So, look, to be there with my family, to acknowledge all the people that have had anything to do with me and say that they've had part of my journey and part of my success is all true. And especially my twin brother, who, without having fights and one-on-one competitions in the backyard, I would never be as competitive as I was. So, I wanted to make sure I acknowledged him. But, my family, my mum took me to every footy game. My sister, who's played 5 state teams in South Australia, football, soccer, touch football, lacrosse, and cricket for Australia, captain and coach of Australian lacrosse, and got a master's in psychology. She's probably given me as much as anyone in regard to inspiration and being able to have banter in regard to getting the best out of teams. I'm very lucky to have her as a sister as well. So, and that flows to because I was a phys ed teacher and seeing what women can do, and my sister, my love and my respect and my, um, uh, you know, ease to work with the women's program and to help, some great young women become greater players. That's pretty fulfilling as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was fantastic to unpack your time in football, and it certainly was a career as a player and coach. So thanks again.
Good on you, Fletch, and good luck with your journey in what you do. You're doing a great job.